Oh my god, Justin just got pulled over.
Justin got pulled over.
Oh my god.
Pop star Justin Bieber was arrested for the first time today.
DUI, alcohol or drugs, resisting without violence, and driving with an expired driver's license.
It's a dangerous mix of fame and fortune that can too often lead to reckless excess. Plenty of pop stars have cracked under the pressure of celebrity and tabloid scrutiny. Now Justin Bieber is feeling the stress.
Put your cameras down and get back.
Justin Bieber is starting to feel the pressure.
Hurry, you got the register, go!
He's literally having his Michael Jackson leave me alone moment.
Is he spiraling out of control?
What'd you say? He just punched them against the car.
Yo, stop talking to me, bro. You have to be right in front of me, yelling and screaming. Yeah, thank you, Justin. It's overwhelming.
Thank you so much, Justin.
What are you thanking me for?
For the shots.
Shots? I mean, do I really have a choice?
The larger-than-life 19-year-old's finding out supersized fame comes with supersized baggage.
Hey guys, it's Donna. Before you write in the comments, I never hated Justin Bieber. I don't know why everyone was so mean to him. Stop, we get it. You're so different, you're so special. Bottom line is, at the time, this was very normal, and almost no one saw any issues with this. Even I remember myself not liking Bieber. However, today, the artist seems to be going through a redemption arc. Individuals are no longer embarrassed, or shunned for that matter, for admitting to listening to the Biebs. Do people still call him that, or is that outdated? From social media stars like Logan Paul to traditional celebrities like Britney Spears, we've seen this redemption arc play out so many times. Celebrities who were once viewed by the public as scum of the earth almost always slowly rise to the top and are seen in a more highly regarded position than ever before. Coincidence, or human nature? This phenomenon is so common that at the end of the video, I'm gonna make a prediction of public figures that everyone hates right now that are going through a redemption arc. In the meantime, just put on some hater blockers and block those haters with our sponsor, GlassesUSA.com. You already know I've been using GlassesUSA.com since 2020, which is why I'm glad that they're sponsoring us again. What's really cool is that by cutting out the middleman, GlassesUSA.com offers over 10,000 prescription glasses and sunglasses, including in-house brands like Muse and Amelia E, and designer brands like Ray-Bans, Oakley, Gucci, and many more, at up to 70% off retail prices. The ones I'm currently wearing are blue light blocking glasses, which is great for protecting your eyes from blue light, obviously, which naturally comes from the sun, but also is emitted from phone and computer screens. Too much of this and you can get eye strain, headaches, blurred vision even. The headache from too much editing was such a nightmare for me, so now when I know I have a long computer sesh, these are pretty much my go-to. GlassesUSA.com is also the perfect place to stock up and save on contact lenses. You get 25% off all contact lens brands, Vista Plus, AccuView, Biofinity, and many more. Now, if you're thinking, whoa, there are too many choices, they have a quiz feature that takes a minute, which suggests the right pair of glasses based on your face shape and needs. And if you're still unsure, GlassesUSA.com even has a virtual try-on tool on the website so you can see what you'd look like before hitting that buy button. All right, let's check out the new pairs that I got. These ones I'm really excited for. Ooh, okay, I like these. These are cool. Here's another one. Okay, these ones are too big for my face, but not to worry. Shopping online at GlassesUSA.com means a risk-free shopping experience. Free shipping and returns, 100% money back guaranteed within 14 days. I also got sunglasses. Oh, these are so cool. I can already feel these are so cool. So if you need a pair of glasses or contacts, be sure to give GlassesUSA.com a try at the link down in the description below. Justin Bieber was doomed to receive public hatred despite his apparent talents from the very beginning. Justin's mother, Patty Malay, would post her son's performance from a local talent competition on YouTube. Now, back in 2007, a successful career from YouTube was unheard of. Most individuals use this platform to share videos with their friends and family. Bieber and his mother were no different. Early YouTube also didn't have the option to publish videos as unlisted links, so even if a user only had intentions to send their video to one person, it was blasted through the algorithm and shared among the many viewers who may be interested in that content. Justin's early videos accidentally caught the eye of many, including his current manager, Scooter Braun.
I found, by mistake, this 12-year-old kid singing in a church. I watched 3-4 videos when I saw him sing So Sick by Neo. He had so much soul in his voice. I said, this is the kid I've been looking for. I was a big Michael Jackson fan coming up. And Jackson 5 early days, Michael sang incredible love songs with an angelic childlike voice that made you remember and love before you got jaded. So I was like, that's missing in the marketplace.
Now, with some crafty detective work, Braun was able to locate and contact the boy and his mother when he saw a sign for the church sponsor in the background of Bieber's performance. There was only one place the sponsor was from, Stratford, Canada.
This Scooter Braun character, like 25-year-old kid from Atlanta with a Gmail address, didn't sound very professional to me.
We talked about life and ended up having a 2-hour conversation. And she had never been on an airplane before, and neither had Justin.
After some convincing, a 12-year-old Justin Bieber and his mother flew out to Atlanta, Georgia to pursue this risky opportunity with Scooter. They began to film these homegrown covers of Justin singing or playing an instrument.
I wanted people to feel like the videos are special. So if you watch those early Justin Bieber videos, you'll realize he never looks at the camera and says, my name is Justin Bieber and this song is. We'd always say, just sing. Because we wanted people to think, is this being uploaded by this mom? Do they realize we're watching? Like, you wanted it to feel special and have this sense of ownership.
When they uploaded the cover of With You by Chris Brown, that's when his channel really gained momentum. He became the second most watched musician on YouTube. Despite lapping almost every major musician on the platform, labels still refused to sign him.
Every label turned me down saying, Justin doesn't have a TV show on Disney or Nickelodeon. He will not work.
No one had ever broken off of YouTube before, and to the industry leaders, this was crazy. Too much of a risk.
I met Usher in a parking lot randomly. I ran up to Usher. I was like, Usher, I love your songs. Can I sing you one? And he was like, well, let's just go inside, little buddy. It's cold out. So I didn't get to sing for him. I was really disappointed. And then we get a call a week later saying that Usher saw my videos on YouTube.
I showed her the video, and Perry says, are you crazy? You better get down there and meet this kid right now. He's amazing.
Finally, after many rejections, Usher, of all people, would recognize the talent in Bieber and sign him in a joint venture with Scooter.
Just so you know, we're in the studio right now working on it. Get ready because it's going to be big. Ain't that right, Justin? That's right. That's right. So look out. We're coming.
Bieber Fever officially struck the upstate tonight.
When 16-year-old Justin Bieber does this, teenage girls go wild.
Oh my god, this is the best day of my life.
He's just 16, but he's already a legitimate international pop star.
Without you two, where do you think you'd be in the music industry?
Me, I would be at home chilling, playing hockey.
Because of Justin's already existing online fan base, it didn't take long for his music to take off. Immediately, Justin's song, Baby, was a hit with teen girls.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I love Justin Bieber. Woo!
How are you handling all this? Because it is really, I mean, the footage that you see of these people going nuts, they're trampling each other and fainting.
A dream come true for not only Justin, but his mother, who had to pick up multiple jobs to support herself as well as her son. The name Justin Bieber was hitting the mainstream and becoming a household name.
Debut album's gone platinum and over 100 million YouTube hits. Can you take it all in? This amazing year you've had?
I mean, it's been crazy. Just like I just started, and you know, I've already performed for the President of the United States.
Justin Bieber! And this is all by your mum putting a video of you on YouTube?
Yeah.
This fairy tale ending would eventually take a sharp turn, though, when that popularity would transform into pure, vile hatred.
You know what? Who I'm gonna kill? It's Justin Bieber.
Even more devastating, the platform that catapulted his career became a hub for anti-Bieber everything.
He is one of the reasons why music sucks today.
For a period of time, his music video Baby was the most disliked video on YouTube.
In school, I learned about hermaphrodites. I never really understood the term until I saw Justin Bieber's one-time video.
Clips would surface here of him committing some kind of error according to his fans or media sources. The creators on YouTube themselves would parody his music, produce skits that mocked his fans, made jokes at his expense, and so much more. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. That comes with the job of being a celebrity.
Right here, down the side, right here. Straight ahead, Justin. Straight ahead. Okay, big smile right here. Big smile right ahead.
However, because it's combined with all of this other criticism and due to his age, the results had massive negative consequences for the young pop star.
Here they half cheers, half boos here at the Garden because they just put up Justin Bieber on the big screen there. You see the coach say, why would you boo the kid?
The boos are from the guys, and the cheers are from the girls.
Now, if you've watched the video I made about the hate for Millie Bobby Brown, you'll be able to guess why Bieber had a massive amount of hate early in his career. Keep in mind, during this period, he hadn't undergone any type of public scandal just yet.
You never see a bit of negative press about him. And I mean, here at Sonic, we scour, constantly looking for what's going on in the headlines, and there's nothing.
The only wrong he had done was release an overtly cheesy song. Sure, it was cringe, but in no way does it warrant boos when you're just trying to watch a basketball game. This hateful reaction was likely from social comparison. Just to give you a recap if you haven't watched the first video, social comparison is a basic drive that all humans have, according to a theory by Leon Festinger. We use it to evaluate where we stand in certain areas. So say you're 23 and just graduated college, and you're attempting to figure out your next move. Social comparison is one framework that can help you do this. You will make an upward comparison of your peers and think of all the new college graduates you know that are doing well. Haley got a job right out of college. She's making 6 figures already and she's able to do this while traveling. You will also make a downward comparison. Well, Jenny moved back to her hometown, couldn't find a job with her degree, and is now working in fast food. Now, depending on your position in life, you will use that info to either propel you toward a path similar to Haley, or you may think, this is impossible because I'm doing worse than Jenny. So then you get discouraged. This is what makes social media platforms like Instagram so depressing for some people, because it's a highlight reel and people are posting their best moments. Individuals are subconsciously making upward social comparisons to everyone on there. Plus, people are likely on social media because they're bored at their job, or they're in bed doing nothing. You're literally comparing yourself right now to someone on vacation, and that can get depressing. Here's where it gets spicy. After our self-esteem was just destroyed because we just realized our life isn't as great as everyone else's, how do we psychologically cope? We bring them down, of course. There are a lot of names to what that process is called, but in the interest of brevity, let's call it tall poppy syndrome. You may have experienced this when you achieved something and instead of the people closest to you being happy for you, they put you down. Oh, you only won because of luck. Everyone wins at that, it's not that hard. Or perhaps you were the one putting an individual down for something they achieved. According to a study published in the Australian Journal of Psychology, individuals who had low global self-esteem and low perceived competence were more likely to do this. Bieber was unfortunately someone his peer group needed to bring down in order to cope with their own situation. Again, what else is the purpose of making fun of a kid who has done nothing wrong? So I asked you on Instagram if you ever hated Justin Bieber, and if so, what is your gender and how old were you? If social comparison theory does apply here, then most of the hate should be male, which Bieber has confirmed.
The dudes were jealous, you know? They would be jealous because their girlfriend would like me.
And the commenters of this basketball game have as well.
The boos are from the guys, and the cheers are from the girls.
And in terms of age, Bieber is currently 28, so maybe 5 years older and 5 years younger is considered his peer group. Now, most of the hate should come from people who are 23 to 33 years old, and they should have hated him most when they were tweens or teens, because social comparisons between peers really seems to be prevalent during this stage of life. Like one time in middle school, I got made fun of because you could see my socks. Yeah, low-cut socks were the thing back then. Let's see where the hate is coming from. If you want to be part of the videos, be sure to follow me on Instagram. Yes, 23-year-old male. I had the iconic cut before he did, and suddenly everyone thought I'd copped his cut. It used to bother me, but I found solace in tearing him down. I didn't anymore, thanks to your video. Thank you. Hey man, I'm here to help. Yes, when he first started and was super popular, I'm 35 and female. 34, male. That dude's a douche nozzle. Pissing in a janitorial bucket and shit like that. I hope he's grown up. Now obviously there were a lot of people that stated they did not like him outside of his peer group, but as you can probably tell, the type of hate we saw earlier in his career is no longer around.
I'm worried. I don't want to see you in a few years' time shaving your hair off, hitting a car with an umbrella. Going cuckoo. Is your mum looking after you? You don't have a massive breakdown now, do you, like some of them? Because there's like a curse, isn't it, almost?
Justin Bieber is in lockup in the Miami Beach police station right behind me.
He's 19 and he was in a rented Lamborghini.
Mr. Bieber, you are charged with DUI, alcohol, or drugs.
Aren't people this troubled supposed to have better music?
The officer asked him to exit the vehicle. He was questioning why he was being stopped. Ultimately, he eventually did step out of the vehicle, would not follow the officer's instructions. The officer at that time did place Mr. Bieber under arrest.
With the renewed interest in the Britney Spears and conservator controversy, it is only now that we are discussing how negative press affects young people.
How do you cope when things happen like that? Everyone's looking at your every move. You're, you know, being an international pop star, but everything you do is scrutinised and blown out of proportion and rumours start. How do you deal with that?
According to Erik Erikson's stages of psychosocial development, children 12 to 18 undergo a phase called identity versus role confusion. Here they are developing a sense of self by answering questions such as who am I, where do I fit into society, and what are my values. The child learns the answers to these questions by exploring different hobbies and having different friend groups. They are additionally affected by how others, especially their own peers, react to them. You're dressed weird. You suck at football. How are you so good at math? In a young celebrity's life, this stage is definitely affected by media and viewer reaction.
He's young.
And I think all of us in some way, you know, have humble beginnings that pan out to be incredible. And we hope that, you know, in his transition as not his friends and family who have helped him be who he is, that he'll continue to just mature. But I mean, in this day's age of social media, there's no privacy. And you know, that kind of trial and elimination period is kind of done in front of a camera. It's been done, and many other celebrities are a product of it, and some come out bad, some come out good. I'm hoping for the best.
What if you were told everything you did was wrong? Bieber continued to be criticized for matters that shouldn't be a big deal. On a visit to Anne Frank's house in Amsterdam, Bieber wrote in the guestbook, "Truly inspiring to be able to come here. Anne was a great girl. Hopefully, she would have been a believer." The reactions to this were all but positive. What a shallow doofus. Anne Frank a believer? Don't you think the poor girl suffered enough? I admit that was funny. What a self-centered little prick. And he's honestly surprised when other artists don't want to work with him. He took what should have been a most inspiring and humbling experience and then shot it in the face. That is the most disrespectful thing I have ever heard of.
I tweeted, yeah, I'm sure Anne Frank would have been a believer. He
does music that is absolutely perfect for being played really, really quietly.
In my opinion, there wasn't really anything wrong with what he wrote. In fact, the property managers agree since they shared his post on their social media. There was also the time people were upset that the pop star met the Canadian Prime Minister in overalls.
He's receiving a medal from the leader of his country, and he looks like scumbag Steve's gay little brother.
And you may remember this one. Photos of Bieber came out where it appears he's spitting on fans over his balcony, and while the headlines claim this is what was happening, a representative from Bieber's camp clarified that there wasn't anyone below them. All lies. However, if you, like me, clearly remember there were numerous instances where Bieber clearly deserved the criticisms thrown his way, you're not wrong.
Justin Bieber apologized to Bill Clinton after he urinated in a mop bucket and then proceeded to spray an image of Bill Clinton.
That's a cool spot to piss. You know, you'll forever remember that.
With a what?
You're not gonna remember him pissing in the restroom like everybody does.
At that time, I was just growing up and figuring myself out. And I just happened to be doing it in a spotlight. You guys got to make your mistakes and no one got to see it.
Right.
You know? And for me, it's like everyone gets to see it. And obviously I have more accessibility to do crazier stuff because I'm, you know, in this position.
Audiences almost never react well to this explanation because the celebrity's mistakes are typically unrelatable to the average person, such as these images that portray Bieber's bodyguards carrying him up the Great Wall of China. Now, it's not murder, but it comes off as spoiled. In my opinion, that explanation has some merit, but it doesn't reveal the entire picture.
I grew up in the industry, so a lot of the things I was doing just became just normal. And like when I was performing, it was just normal.
Of course.
To perform for 20,000 people is just normal, you know?
It's
and
insane.
It shouldn't be normal.
I think the business that is celebrity worship is the biggest culprit to the douchebag or train wreck image we perceive Justin to be.
Yo, listen to me. Are you listening? Okay, I'm trying to wipe the floor. Give me a second, yo. Guys, never mind. I'm done. I'm not doing the show. I'm not doing the show.
The end result of all of this is that he's still famous. This marinated in estrogen pseudo-male who is brainless, dickless, talentless, and worthless is still f***ing famous.
Erickson states that if a child is unable to explore their own identity, the result is rebellion.
Justin Bieber in the streets of Cleveland brawling.
I think what happened is, as the media came down on him, he started, you know, there were so many things that weren't true that he couldn't keep up with them. And then he started to rebel against the lies and actually create reality.
What you say? You heard what I said, man. What'd you say? You heard what I fucking said, mate. Lose your fucking belt. Lose your fucking belt.
When I started, they portrayed me as being this perfect kid that like no one can really hold up to.
Being a teenager, you want to grow up, you want to experiment, you want to get in trouble, you want to, you know, do things wrong, make mistakes, but you sort of can't do that. Do you feel like restricted because of your fame and your success?
I think that, I'm a role model to so many people, so I want to be a positive one to those people. So, I want to make good decisions.
So I had all this pressure being this guy, and for a while I was just like, you know what, I'm not perfect.
Negative press and audience reaction sort of acts like a blockade to this exploration of identity.
Dramatic call to 911 by Justin Bieber. The pop star had been speeding down a California freeway going up to 100 miles an hour. The paparazzi chasing him.
911 emergency, what are you reporting?
Hello, I have like 5 cars following me.
Okay, where are you at?
I'm located on the freeway.
Do you know the people that are following you?
No, I don't. I think they're but they're driving really reckless.
Okay, and what's your name?
Justin.
Okay. What's your last name?
Johnson.
If trivial matters like this are seen as wrong, then what type of behavior is supposed to be right? Might as well go full-on criminal status if you can't do anything right.
His issue is he's fighting with really wanting to be normal and wanting people to respect him and treat him like a normal kid, but then also the responsibility of the fact that he's not allowed to be normal.
When you want a photo with me is going to determine if I take a photo or not. If I'm walking somewhere or arriving somewhere and you guys are asking me to take a photo, if I don't respond, if I continue just walking, the likelihood is probably that I don't want to take a photo at that moment. Now, if you start screaming louder, that's not going to make me want to take a photo more. I want to enjoy the moment just as you're enjoying the moment, but I can't enjoy it if I'm not feeling like there's any respect given to me at that moment. So if you're asking kindly, usually the chances are I'll take a photo. But it's like, why did you travel to see me in the first place? Was it really to see me, or was it to get that moment of you seeing me so that you could tell people about it?
The other day, he looked at me, we were on tour, and he said, I just don't trust people.
Yeah.
And when I first met him, he was this really trusting kid who was wide-eyed and believed in everything in the whole world. And I think over the last couple of years, he said he just doesn't, there's very few people in the world that he can trust. And he says it's hard for me even to make friends.
Perhaps this is why we see a number of young celebrities back in the early 2000s going through this train wreck phase.
We'll do one picture if you guys leave us alone. 1 second.
Right here, look over to the left.
No one's ever grown up in front of camera phones and Twitter and Instagram and social media on this level and been this famous as a solo artist.
Somehow, we created the character that deserved the jeers from a kid who was at first undeserving of it.
I used to defend him because I felt like people were being unfair to him, constantly tearing him apart in the media. I'm like, look, he's just a kid, leave him alone. But after watching that and seeing his sense of entitlement, no, you get no type of, you don't get Anna defending you anymore.
Every time I do videos like this, people always say that I am defending or justifying bad behavior. No, of course people shouldn't be driving under the influences or egging people's houses. My intention is not to defend, but to give you insight on why behavior may happen. After Bieber released his album Believe in 2012, the pop star didn't release another until 3 years later. During the time, he even joked about retirement in a few interviews. Though framed as a joke, many took what he said seriously due to the length of time it took to release an album. In 2015, he finally released Purpose, and this time, audience feedback was very different. In the past, every time an album debuted, it was massively parodied and made fun of.
If I was your girlfriend, I'd drive you up the wall. Question who you're with, yeah, I'd always call and call.
This time, people actually liked it.
We were talking about it with DJ Majestic here in the studio when your song What Do You Mean came out. We're like, finally, a manthem.
Hold on. How do you go from people making fun of your haircut to grown men calling one of your songs a manthem? Many make the argument that his songs just became progressively better. Sure, but that's not the entirety of it. When you go back to his most hated songs, you will rarely see any negative comments. Everyone now, all of a sudden, loves these songs. Something was happening. The redemption arc was beginning.
And it was a great performance, and then at the end, you got me because you got really emotional.
I just, it was just so overwhelming for me, everything. Just the performance. I missed some cues, so I was a little disappointed at that, and just everyone and just their support. I was honestly, let me breathe for a second. I just wasn't expecting them to support me in the way they did. Last time I was at an award show, I was booed.
Let's go back to the tall poppy study found in the Australian Journal of Psychology. So again, the study found that if someone was a high achiever or tall poppy, many would root for their downfall. Typically, people with low global self-esteem and low perceived competence. Here's where it gets interesting. Participants reported to be more pleased when a high achiever fell to the average position on the performance scale rather than to the bottom. So to me, this kind of indicates that we don't necessarily wish for people's destruction. What we really want is conformity. Hey, stop being so good, but also don't die. You have to be like me.
Do you recommend fame at such a young age for anyone?
I don't. When I started, I didn't have any expectations, didn't know what this life was about. I was from a really small town in Canada, so it all happened really quickly, and there was no way for me to really adjust and know how to deal with it. So I handled some of the things in like a just not knowing how to handle it.
I think many saw or are seeing Justin fall to a below average position. And I don't think it's career-wise, but personal life-wise. I don't know about you, but I felt some type of way when I saw an interview with him clearly on something while promoting or being a spokesperson for a church called Hillsong. There's something kind of fishy about this relationship. The next part of the study notes that participants were more pleased and friendly towards a high achiever who fell to the average position than towards an average achiever who fell to the bottom.
People were taking advantage of me. People were like, I was losing trust in people, so I completely shut off, and I was just like, I was in my own world and only cared about myself, and that only leads to unhappiness. And I felt I always knew the guy that I was, and I was always this guy to be personable and be charismatic and have fun, but I felt like that was taken away from me.
Now, along with Justin Bieber, I find that conclusion to be true for a lot of people. The Logan Pauls, the Britney Spearses. People aren't just indifferent about these guys, they're now fans. Look what happened when the internet collectively decided Andrew Garfield was the worst Spider-Man. But when the scene came out where all three Spider-Mans meet, I think it was around that point that everyone started drooling over him. What?
As a society, we tell our youth we want them to succeed, we want them to succeed. Yet if youth succeed, we immediately belittle that and say, you don't deserve it, you're too young.
Although Justin Bieber is still not an individual who is highly regarded as some of his celebrity counterparts, it's evident that public disapproval has tapered off. His new music could be attributed to this, but I mostly feel it's in part due to the redemption arc we love to see. A lot of our favorite stories are about underdogs who take the gold. Even reality TV is based on this concept. A lot of Justin's pitfalls were nationally televised, and while I don't classify him as an underdog in the slightest, one can't help but feel the inclination to at least wish him good health and happiness. The moment that you all been waiting for. Who do I think will go through a redemption arc? Now, my answers are controversial, so don't get mad at me. Amber Heard and Andrew Tate. Now, it doesn't mean that these people didn't do anything wrong. Don't get it twisted. The redemption arc isn't based on a human's logic, it's based mostly on emotions. I think Amber Heard's redemption is going to be propelled by people who like to use whataboutisms, which is a logical fallacy you're not supposed to use in debate, but for some reason it's okay on the internet. So in domestic violence cases where it will be clear that the man is at fault, I think Amber Heard will be used as a scapegoat, as an example of, oh, we don't actually know, remember Amber Heard and Johnny Depp? And for Andrew Tate, I think he's going to take the character route, and people are going to praise him for his marketing tactics and making money off of his fans. When the popularity of his character dies now, he's going to say it was satire. Then videos are going to come out and it's going to be like, this is the real Andrew Tate. Those are my predictions. But they've just had their downfall, so it's going to take a while before they rise up again. They are also contingent upon relevance. So if for some reason viewers don't care about these figures anymore, then this redemption arc won't happen. That's the end of the video. I'll see you guys next time. Stay psyched. Also, don't forget to check out today's sponsor, GlassesUSA.com, down in the description below.